Her role was always passive. She didn't criticise, lecture or dictate, but she could and did question. In 1956, it's reported that the Prime Minister, Sir Anthony Eden, told the 30-year-old Queen about the government's intention to intervene over sewers, and she apparently said, "Are you sure?" For the Queen, this was the equivalent of saying, "Are you mad?" There was always a calmness and a sense of restraint about Queen Elizabeth, matched by her constancy and diligence day in and day out, a model constitutional monarch. And now an era has ended. As the body of the late Queen left Buckingham Palace yesterday afternoon, her home for the past 8 decades, for the final time, before lying in state at Westminster, tens of thousands of people lined London's most famous streets in near silence. King Charles III and his siblings walked behind the oak casket during a 38-minute procession from the palace to Westminster Hall. Prince William, the Prince of Wales, and his brother Prince Harry joined their father in a time-honoured tradition of royal duty which saw them walk behind their own mother's coffin in a different circumstance 25 years ago. Put simply, it could not have been easy. The eerie silence was broken only by minute guns fired from Hyde Park, while the coffin moved towards the Palace of Westminster, home of the House of Commons and the House of Lords, the seat of government. The bells of Big Ben, having finally broken free from the 5-year restoration project, which cost $137 million, the bells were tolled at 1-minute intervals. The closed coffin of Queen Elizabeth now lies in state, draped in the royal flag and overseen by a 24-hour military guard. Lying in state simply means the coffin is placed on view to the public to pay their respects to the deceased before the funeral ceremony. It is a final tribute for a distinguished leader. The tradition stretches back to the 17th century during the Stuart era. The Queen's father, King George VI, and sovereigns before him lay in state, as well as 2 former Prime Ministers, William Gladstone in 1898 and Sir Winston Churchill in 1965. The Queen Mother was the last person to lie in state following her death in 2002, but at his request, Prince Philip did not lie in state following his death last year. The coffin now sits on what is called a catafalque, which is a raised platform inside Westminster's Grand Hall, topped with the imperial state crown, adorned with a sapphire, ruby and huge diamond. It'll stay there until 6:30 a.m. on the day of her funeral in the nearby Westminster Abbey next Monday. It's a long time since 1952, when it all began. In the intervening years, crowds have gathered to wave flags at Elizabeth's appearance. Now those same flags have been lowered to mourn our loss.